Hey viewers, today we'll be taking a look at the Mazzanti Evantra Millecavalli in Asphalt 9 at max. This is a fairly mid-range class S card, but it was unfortunately very difficult to get in its special event. These are clips from way back in I think early summer, and I think I recorded the first part of these clips in 720p, so it might look a little bit blurry for you guys. Now unfortunately I was not able to upload over the weekend as my weekend was actually pretty busy, so I will be trying to make up for it by uploading a little more often throughout the course of this week since I do not have school during this week. Now onto the Asphalt 9, as a current event right now, if you've actually been playing the Taiken car hunt, then you can tell that we're having a Remake Concept 1 special event going on right now, which is, honestly, I'm kind of too lazy to do a Remake Concept 1 first look video since there's only one race unlocked for me right now and I really don't feel like doing a special event right now. So I guess I can just give my thoughts on the Remake Concept 1 at Golden Max 2 before I do this video eventually. Now, the Remake Concept 1, it just feels like a Aston Martin Valhalla mixed with the Remake Concept 2. It's very frontward grounded, it's a really strange car to drive, and the drifting kind of feels like the Imola, where it's kind of sharp. It's really sharp when you do floaties or related, but when you're trying to drift normally, it will go straight since the front wheels are digging into the floor and it can't really get this full grip that way. The acceleration is actually really good. I think the fake acceleration makes it very similar to the Remake Concept 2 in terms of raw acceleration, as the car almost wrecks there. Back to what I was talking about the Remake Concept 1, I was going to try to go for it, but considering that I was not able to do much of the content for the Taiken, I don't think I'll be able to unlock it, especially since it requires a lot of cars that I don't have the high star counts, like the Apex AP0 or the Chevrolet Corvette CR1. Although I did enjoy driving it in the one race I did have for it, the acceleration is 86, which is around 88 in terms of actual acceleration. The speed is actually, it feels really average because it's only 238 miles an hour, which I've seen that way too many times at this point in Asphalt 9. The only complaint is just the handling is really strange, especially when you do punches. The punches get to really sharp when actually do them because they try to brute force the groundedness on it in a way. Now back to the Mazzanti, which is the car that I'm driving right now. This is actually a really old video, so I didn't really know what I was doing when I was playing with the controller. So I may look like a noob in this video, but I guess I'll try to talk about it. Most of these races are coming first simply because they were just so early in the season. Except for the last one, because I shoved into people, or not shoved, and the car kind of tried to kill itself in the end. Although you'll get to see that at the end of the video. Please don't skip because that's going to ruin it for you. Now this car, it's not really a meta car, to be completely honest. It's very grounded, and it's actually one of the few actually grounded cars we have in Class S, especially for being a really high-end one as well. I think this used to be an elite Class S car for like one update before they introduced a Spark Owl. Maybe not, I haven't really been paying attention to the Class S elite. Now this car, the drifting is, I feel like the drifting is just really wide, but maybe because it's grounded. Because even when you try to do floaty, it doesn't lift at all. And it's really strange because we don't really have grounded cars up in really high in Class S. Although I guess the handling stat really makes up for it because losing speed is really hard in this car. I think the lowest average drift speed I got to in this thing is around 158 miles an hour, which is still kind of slow, but in the grand scheme of things, it's actually really fast for Class S, as most of them usually bottom out at around 140 for cars that don't really drift well. Although cars like the Koenigsegg Jesko, they drift at really high speeds. I think the Jesko can drift at above 180 miles an hour disregarding the floatiness. Now with the Regera, I'm pretty sure that drifts at around 140 miles an hour or 138. Which is unfortunate getting close to unlocking the Regera. I'm at 39 out of 60 and I should be getting at least a few drops to get to the Legend Store. I haven't gotten any credits ones yet as of reaching bronze level 17. Although I did try my luck on packs, and I got 21 blueprints out of the 220 pack. I bought 20 packs and got 21 blueprints out of that, so that was pretty cool. And as you can see in this race, we actually had someone almost come up to me. Unfortunately, they didn't really manage to catch up even with my poor ending on this race. Although they were, I think, half a second, yes. Now this car, I think it's one of the slowest of the 410 bracket, I'm pretty sure. Because I think the Inferno is the next closest car to this one in terms of speed. Maybe that or the Spark Owl. I think the Spark might go similar speed to this, but the Inferno might be faster. Since I'm pretty sure the fastest one of this is either the Veyron or the Zenro, which I'm actually unlocking this multiplayer season because I'm at 56 out of 60. Unfortunately, because they changed the Ghost Awards, I don't think I would have had it at least 2 stars by now if they did not change the Ghost Awards, which is a bit unfortunate, since the Zenro is not very good at 1 star. Because I've driven at 1 star, as you've seen in the first look video for the Valkyrie. It's very wide drifting, makes it not a great choice for multiplayer at all, to be completely honest. But it does at least allow me to get epics for my Trion Nemesis, which I recently 6-starred, and it now carries me for the credits highest as I never had a 6-star car before. And my Egoista is at 4 stars right now. It's ironic that my Trion is at 2 stars higher than my Egoista. Now, I wanted to talk about the Volkswagen IDR, which, yes, you should be calling it the IDR. If you call it the Electric R, I will find you. I'm kidding. Basically, people are complaining about how that car has very poor handling abilities despite having a relatively high handling stat. Now, to the few of you that actually watch my videos, I'd just like to give my thoughts on this and addressing it. So basically, if you've seen how cars perform depending on their suspension geometry, as if you've been paying attention, the suspension geometry is always different between most cars, with some being very bouncy and having a lot of rebound, like the Venom F5 or the Continental GT3, despite being a really grounded car. You can tell that their floatiness also affects how they handle, as very floaty cars, they tend to lose less speed, grounded cars lose speed very quickly. Like, if you compare a car like the... I don't really know any comparable cars across different groundingness. I think maybe the SV to the P1. The P1 is, I think, the most floaty car of the trio, the starting trio of Class A. And that tends to balance a little bit, and you can do floaties if you try really hard enough, although it's not a great idea. The P1 loses speed slightly slower than the SV just because it's not as grounded. Now, with the IDR, it is very grounded. I think it's frontward grounded just like any other of the high-end Class A cars, but basically if you punch with it, it does get sharper when you drift. Now, with the going straight while using shockwave, that is kind of just a byproduct of it just being so grounded, as well the car is pretty much digging itself into the floor, so it doesn't really have much time to catch grip, and that's why the car feels very strange to drive, especially with the drifting, as you can tell that it's been jiggling if you drift. This is a characteristic with most grounded cars, and as you can see there, the Mazzanti did not float at all, which kind of solidifies the point of it not being meta, and it somehow survived that, despite going almost completely sideways. Now, onto the last race of the video, I'm going to push away the IDR for a sec. My thoughts on the Mazzanti Evantra is, it's an alright car to be completely honest, although its placement and performance doesn't really justify the fact that it was so expensive to go for, as it required a Legend Pass. And I'm pretty sure 300 blueprints, 6-star it, and it is fairly mediocre to be completely honest. The acceleration is just fine. The speed is really slow for high-end Class A, not Class A, Class S. The nitro is quite long, although the handling leaves much to be desired. It's overall just a really mediocre car. There are better alternatives like the Zenro, the Fenrir, the Inferno. They do better jobs at each different aspect. Inferno being much better for general usage, the Zenro being better for drifting and straight line speed. The Fenrir is being quite easy to keep at speed despite the physics issues. Now with the IDR, well, that almost killed it. So with the IDR, yeah, so it's really grounded as well. I'm kind of running out of time in this video, so that's pretty much explaining why the IDR handles so poorly. I wanted to say thank you for watching. I hope you leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Kind of out of time, so see ya.